Now, just to explain to those watching on the live stream and people who may not be aware of the scoring system, the British Rental Car Championship works to a more international standard rather than what would happen in a regular UK contest. So the way it works is a little bit like this. All the drivers are scoring points in 4 races, 4 heat races over the 2 days. The top 30-point scorers go through to the semi-finals, and there are 3 semi-finals. Now, the semi-finals are not a knockout as such. What they are is the right to continue scoring. So the top 30 continue to add to the scores they've already got in their heat races. So high scores in the heat races is going to, by definition, make your semi-final that little bit easier in terms of them moving through to the final. Then if you've qualified to the final, there'll only be 10 people in the final. When you've qualified through to that final, then it's all bets are off and we're no longer dealing in scores. Actually, the World Championship, as it happens, the final is a further continue to score job. So in a sense, it could well be a situation where in the final of the World Championships, the actual winner of the race is not necessarily crowned world champion, because it is another continue to score. But in the British Rental Car Championship, when we get to the final, those 10 finalists, all bets are off, and it's first past the post. So we're moving to the final of the round 3 heat races, the final race on this alternate layout, and then we're going to be having a bit of a gap while they reset the course. Now, on this race, Spanners, you've got something to talk about on this race.
Fantastic. Here's an interesting stat. Lovely lad has never completed a race without making contact. So contact guaranteed in this race.
Well, and the people who made contact, let's make a little short list of 9. So there are 10 people in it. We've got Shaun Mcgrath in this one, and we've got George Lovell, brother of Jim, who we saw in third place earlier on. Tim Andrew, one of the known photographers. Dante Dhillon, who obviously is one we're looking to be punting about. Vincent Osborne's down there, Gary Llewellyn, Mateusz Matys, the Polish driver, Logan Sougne, one of the Blue Star Racing Team drivers from Belgium. Ben Churchill is in here, and one of the Mad brothers, the second of the Mad brothers, it's Marc Meulemeester this time. Andy Meulemeester we saw in action earlier on. And but really looking from this, your best bets have got to come from George Lovell, Logan Sougne, and certainly Matys, but it's a bit of a tough one to call as well. So their qualifying times coming through. Osborne sets the initial pace. Vincent Osborne is currently on pole. Logan Sougne's gone fastest. The Belgian Sougne. Marc Meulemeister's now moved second. It's still Logan Sougne. Vincent Osborne third. Shaun Mcgrath is in 8th. Ben Churchill has gone third. Tim Andrew gone third. George Lovell is second. It's still Logan Sougne at the top. Gary Llewellyn third, and top in the list, it's Dante Dhillon. Dante Dhillon fastest. Mateusz Matys. Where did that come from with Dante Dhillon?
No, he's quick. I've been watching him all season in D-Max.
He is quick, but he's just out-qualified. Logan Sougne, George Lovell, Mateusz Matys, particularly, they're the ones I'm thinking about. That is a step up, whichever way you look at it, by Dante Dhillon.
And I would, if I was Sougne, I would be treating Dhillon like a kitten with a shotgun. As in, if you're going to get past, make sure you're careful, because Dillon's going to defend that. He leaves absolutely nothing on the track whatsoever. Yeah,
and based on what you said, it may well be a kitten with a Gatling gun more than a shotgun. I think Dante Dhillon's going to be setting at what he would consider a searing pace to begin with, but if anyone gets past him, I think he's going to be straight back at them. We're getting the feeling here that Dillon's not really going to be playing a strategic game in this race.
He's a very good defensive driver, so it's going to be tough for the guys behind, even if they have ultimate pace. This is going to be a great one to look out for right from the start.
Yeah, he's a bit of an old school street fighter, I guess, is Dante Dhillon. Dante Dhillon, of course, was a semi-finalist last year. He ended up being listed as 28th overall, so he has got the speed. Obviously, that's why he's on pole position for this race. But to be honest with you, it is quite a surprise to see him up there, especially when you consider it's against Logan Sougne, one of the finest indoor kart drivers in the world at the moment. George Lovell there is somebody who we've seen at the top in the earlier races, and he is, he's a former Super 1 driver in the UK, so he's no slouch, one of the South Coast karting boys down there, Bournemouth. Jim Lovell, his brother, we saw in the top 3 earlier on. So Dante Dhillon now, though, this is going to be a race worth watching, it really is. So if you're on the live stream, if you're going to stick with any race at all, stick with this one. Dante Dhillon, is he going to hit it early? He does, he's on the gas already, he's flat out on that final turn, crossing the line. Maybe Logan Sougne shaking his head, Well, Logan Sougne is now finding himself battling over the lead with somebody not the style that he's used to fighting with. This is not going to be a race of strategy up at the front. It's going to be a race of punchiness. And Logan Sougne is right on the back of Dante Dhillon. Is it going to happen down the back stretch here? Is Logan Sougne going to think, I've got to do something soon? Already defensive is Dante Dhillon. Just as advertised, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Sougne got a great run out of the Snell section onto that back turn. So I think that's what we're going to see straight away. You can see Dhillon's very busy, very aggressive style, getting sideways, busy on the wheel, especially into this turn 3 right now. You'll see he's sliding quite a bit more than the guys behind. So, yeah, I think this is going to be definitely a battle of defensiveness for now.
Absolutely, and Logan Sougne, I think, we're not seeing, I wouldn't call it lack of respect, but I definitely think it's a lack of regard for Dante Dhillon.
He doesn't want to be there.
No, absolutely, but it's more lack of regard. He does not consider Dante Dhillon to be a competitor of the kind of world level calibre. I'm not saying that as a negative, really. It's just I think he feels that Dante Dhillon is someone he needs to deal with very quickly. It's not someone he's going to strategise through the race with. So it's going to be interesting.
Oh, I see.
Will others consider that a factor of the 3 behind, and actually will we see some early pit stops? Because I think Logan Sougne's into the attack. Let's say he was up there with Ruben Boutons, he'd probably strategise this, but I think Logan Sougne's just going to attack this situation.
I mean, there's still 5 or 6 karts in touch with the leaders, and I've watched Dhillon in the past, and if he's going defensive, he's going defensive, and he wants to keep the position. And with no pit stops yet, there's no pressure on the pace. He'd be quite happy to let all 10 cars punch up.
And Dante Dhillon is setting a very worthy pace there, and he's not on pole by chance. You know, he's not up at the front by chance. This is not like everyone's pitted and come out behind him. He is up there on merit. Dante Dhillon is making an absolute flying job of this, and to be sitting there ahead of Logan Sougne and being able to hold off the Belgian racer behind him is really saying something. He's got some world-class opposition ganging up on him right now, and he's holding them off. And this is a great showing there from Dante Dhillon. Really good performance. Early pit stop by Sougne. Now Sougne is going to strategise his way around this. He's, as I said, I don't want to be talking Dhillon down. I'm really not trying to do that. But Logan Sougne is probably not going to hold him in the same regard as others, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's a big feather in the cap for Dhillon that he's made Sougne pit after 4 laps. He's forced that.
He has, because what Sougne has been forced to do is to take one of his options away. So if anyone else pits and was then running in front of Sougne and holding him up, he's got nothing to do, and that's a risk Sougne will be aware of. That's not a move he'll start to do. So Dhillon has forced one of the finest kart drivers in the world to take a pretty risky early pit stop, that's what he said.
But no one's followed him in. That's interesting.
No, because now George Lovell has closed up on Dante Dhillon. Dhillon is actually carrying great speed, so Lovell wasn't immediately onto him. It's not like Dillon's actually holding anyone up. The question is, will Lovell have a bit more faith in Dhillon than Sougne had?
Well, Sougne is now behind McGrath, straight up to the back of him. McGrath's got no obligation to let him pass whatsoever. So does McGrath go defensive, or does he think, I don't need to lose time here?
Yeah, so already Sougne is going to be losing time, and this is what Lovell will be considering. Do I want to lose if I think I'm losing time to Dhillon?
Oh, McGrath's battling him. Sougne's trying to go around the outside. But McGrath's holding him. He's perfectly entitled to. And oh no,
Logan Sougne's waving, but it's his own fault. He's the one who pitted away from Dhillon. So he thought he was faster than Dhillon, so pitted. And the question is, he was probably faster staying with Dhillon than he was trying to get behind McGrath. And he's gone down the inside. It's a robust move. Will it be given as a bad pass? We're not sure.
I don't know. I think the marshals might look at the pace difference between the two of them and factor that in.
I think you're right there. They'll consider the situation, won't they?
Yes.
They'll consider the situation. That's not what you would. That's not what I saw someone going to pitch there. But Dante Dhillon hangs on into the lead there. He's fending off George Lovell. A great showing there by Dante Dhillon. Really has got some world-class drivers.
I think if Lovell or Matys pit now, they're ahead of Sougne, aren't they?
They are, and it may well be, if they were to know what had happened with Sougne, it might well be that an urgent pit stop now could be worth it, because once he's clear, Logan Sougne will make that time up. There's no doubt about it. This is where the kart to pit radio would be ideal, isn't it? The virtual manager might pull one of those two, one of the 3 leaders in, because you know Dante Dhillon. I mean, you can imagine Sougne's face if he came out of the pit.
Livid.
Yeah, ahead of him. Oh, wouldn't he just? Dante Dhillon now, well, he's covering the middle rather than the inside, so he's just sort of keeping George behind him rather than actually trying to block him
Dillon's got any mates in the barriers, get down onto the side there and tell him to pit now.
Well, Dhillon's going to have a lot more fans in this race now than he did going in, because it's a great showing there by Dante Dhillon. He's being fast. We know he's fast, but we've not seen him on the front of the field, and he's really holding up. Well, not holding up George Lovell. He's holding off George Lovell. That's the right way of putting it. George Lovell is doing his absolute best. It's 0.3 of a second, but Dhillon is just keeping him back. He can't do anything, and Mateusz Matys just can't close absolutely on that leading pair. And of course, Matys, he was the junior champion of Poland last year, so he's going to be very fast indeed, and he's just not able to get right on the bumper of George Lovell.
Well, let's see what the gap is. It was 12.3 all the way back to Sougne, which is really the pit stop window, isn't it, that we're looking at between the top three. So we're seeing Sougne come over the line now, and it's 12.1, so that gap is closing. The opportunity for those top three to come in and still come out ahead of Sougne and take advantage of his scrap with Mcgrath is now closed.
Absolutely, and the crucial stat to look at here, if you're watching at home on the live stream, is this little leaderboard on the left of the screen. Now, look down at Logan Sougne, it's 12.1. If Dhillon pitted now, he would come out ahead of Sougne. So it sounds crazy to put out the lead like this, but it may well do him a favour to do that in terms of a finishing position, although he would have to hold Sougne off for the entire race. But it's, you know, Sounne's coming down to 11.7. Sougne, this is why he's pitted away at this. We know that a 10-second stop is a ballistic stop, 11-second stop is a good stop, so the closer Sougne gets, that's now 11.7, the closer he gets to the leader, the more likely he is to leapfrog them when they stop in the pits. In other words, to stay ahead of Sougne, all these three leaders probably need to come in now, crazy though it sounds.
But from their position, that just seems like a bonkers thing to do. In fact, the only person really, I think Matys, would look at that and say he's being held up by both of them.
Yeah, but I think in all three cases it would be worth a punt, not because you're thinking about who's you're actually going to come out with, but just for the sheer sake of being in front of Sougne. Because Sougne is one of the best in the world, and he's going to be fast, and he's going to win this race if they don't block him. Someone's in, it's Matys. I think Matys has seen that, because everyone else has been pitting late generally, but Matys, I think, has seen what's happened. Reference Sougne. The drivers can see what the gaps are out on the track. There are screens around the track, and he's come out behind Sougne.
Just too late.
And this is why Sougne pitted, to be able to leapfrog these guys.
No, well, Sougne was actually ahead of Matys and Lovell. He was trying to leapfrog Dhillon, but if it had been a couple of laps earlier, Sougne would be now behind. And
that's why I was calling it about pitting now, regardless, because ordinarily anyone pitting would be worried about Churchill, Andrew, Llewellyn ahead, but it became not a case of where will you end up generally, it would be more like making sure you came out ahead of Sougne, and I think they may have all left it too late now. It is 11.5 seconds Sougne to Dhillon, so if Dhillon was going to do it and come out ahead, now is the time, literally right now.
Interesting that Churchill has waved through Matys, didn't need to, no blue flags, was for position, obviously Churchill hasn't hit it yet, but he just waved him through. I think he was just going, you know, that's a battle I'm not involved in. Smart thinking, really.
Quite simply, he's a good lad and he knows the score.
Right, got it. And he's also got Tim Andrew ahead of him that he thinks he might still be able to catch.
Yeah, and Ben Churchill, his best result in the BRKC overall was 2 years ago, Ben Churchill, 42nd in the championship, which is knocking on the door of the semi-finals, to be fair.
Oh, big contact there from Sougne. He's apologised. No, I don't. Oh, I've misinterpreted that hand signal. I don't think that was an apology. And Matys has gone through down the inside. Loads and loads of contact. Now Sougne has lost out again to Tim Andrew, who they were getting past. But Tim Andrew is there for position. He just hasn't pitted yet. And loads of hand gestures. I don't speak Italian, so I can't quite translate.
Nor does Logan Sougne, because he's Belgian, but
the hand gestures was the joke.
I think well, he's speaking in all languages at the moment, and it's probably bad languages. That's the native tongue for Sougne at the moment, bad language. In the pits though is number 9, that of course is Osborne. Now where Osborne has moved himself away from Mateusz Sougne, etc., but it might be a factor with the leaders, because the leaders are coming up to, well, he's actually out quite well clear. So nothing going there. Osborne exits into clear air. But Sougne, all that messing about has allowed Matys in the lead. Now, crucially, Dhillon has got another chance to come in the pits and still come out ahead, because Matys and Sougne are 13 and 15 seconds respectively back. I don't think that Dhillon and Lovell should be thinking in terms of, oh yeah, but if I come out now, where am I, Meulemeester versus Llewellyn? It's all about coming out ahead of Matys and Sougne, because to be honest with you, I think really, in reality, Matys and Sougne on their own are faster than Dhillon and Lovell potentially, and I think an inspired pit stop for either of those two would be now, because Matys and Sougne are already bringing that time down. 11 is Mcgrath, Shaun Mcgrath. Now, where's he going to come out? It could well be near the leaders. No, they're clear of him, that's okay. So there's Dhillon still in the lead versus Lovell. Now Matys and Sougne are closing in on the leaders. If the leaders have another opportunity by that kerfuffle that occurred earlier on to make a pit stop that would keep the lead, you know, if they knew about it, they need to come in now, because Matys and Sougne are just going to close that gap up again.
I think they've got at least 3 or 4 laps before Matys and Sougne are going to be able to close that gap again. So if I'm kart manager, if I'm playing virtual kart manager at the moment, those two are free to fire and battle each other and pick their pit stop window. At the moment, Sougne and Matys are not an issue. They're not on the radar at the moment. 13 seconds back is Matys from the lead.
Absolutely, and it's going to be all eyes on Lovell, really. I think if anyone was going to see that, oh, 8 car is Ben Churchill. Now, where does Ben Churchill come out on the track? Because the oh, he's going to be clear. Yeah, that's right. He's clear of absolutely everybody. He's going to be on his own. Here are the leaders. Here's Lovell coming down. I was going to say, Lovell needs to do it. Lovell does need to be the one to do it. We've got, obviously, Jim Lovell up on the balcony. I'm sure we got Ray Lovell back at home down near Bournemouth there at South Coast Karting. He's probably watching this and yelling at the screen, if I know Ray.
Right, Dillon's got traffic up ahead. He's got number 9, Osborne, up ahead of him. They will be blue flags, but he doesn't want to get held up. He needs to come out and pit now. This is the time. Come on, Dante. Make sure you respond.
Now, it's worked out perfectly for George Lovell. This is exactly why he needed to pit when he did. He's come out about just under 2 seconds ahead of Mateusz Matys, and yes, into the pits. Now, this is the crucial one. Is Lovell going to take the lead? Is George Lovell going to do it? Because he's going to win the race if he does. It's all down to Dante Dhillon. Dante Dhillon could win or lose this race.
He's done enough.
He's waving his arm, but it's looking good.
Was that a penalty? Was that clean?
It's looking very good. Ray Lovell's going to be yelling at the screen, throwing things. There's Dhillon in the lead. Is he going to get punted? No, he's not. And Dhillon hangs on the lead. This has worked out perfectly for Dante Dhillon with 8 minutes to go. What a race!
I'm hoping that stop from Dhillon was clear for his sake.
It was an 11-second stop spanner, so hopefully no mistakes. And Dante Dhillon, everything has gone in his favour. They needed to make those stops because they're 3rd and 4th. Logan Sougne and Mateusz Matys, they were the danger ones. They were closing on these. They are faster than the 2 leaders, but the actual leads themselves, they stopped at probably the last moment that they could have. Certainly Dhillon couldn't have left it any later.
No, he had to come in then, and I'm very glad for his sake that he didn't throw away the lead there after having so many opportunities to pit and come out in the net lead. I think he's taken his very last opportunity. Any later than that?
Yeah. Literally, because I think if Dhillon had come in a lap later, George Lovell would have won this race. Simple as.
The net loser here is Sougne as well. He made that risk to come out and then just got tangled up with Mcgrath. It's unlucky in a way, but then he also got tangled up with West as well. So that's the risk of that early pit stop, is putting yourself in the traffic.
Exactly. He felt he was being held up, but put himself in a position of being in a worse hold-up situation. The risk of the early stopper. But Logan Sougne, he would have known that risk, and he rolled the dice, and he didn't quite get the numbers.
Given that nobody else in that front 4 was pitting, did Logan need to take that risk?
Yeah, I think he did actually, because he rolled the dice on the idea that if he pitted and could set some fast laps, it was going to work. As it happens, it didn't work, but I think on paper it would have been always worth taking that chance. He's actually no worse off, arguably. I mean, I know he dropped from 2nd to 4th, didn't he?
That's quite a bit worse off.
It is that bit worse off, but in terms of sheer numbers. But he is still with that lead group, and there are 6 minutes to go. This could well change position quite easily. Dante Dhillon at the front is probably the, you know, he's fast enough to hold him off, but they are also fast enough that they're going to be nose to tail. I think we're going to see some action before the end of this race. I really do. Logan Sougne is in 4th place, and at the moment is probably better. There you go. There you go.
No, that's a disaster.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Being 4th is probably better than being 3rd because you know, he could have easily gone around and been 2nd there.
Matys took a big
Lovell was the big
out.
loser there.
Yeah.
Unlucky for George Lovell. Yeah, Matys had a stab at him and turned him around. In fact, he's lucky that he's that close. However, if Matys catches up with Dante Dhillon, which is actually Dillon's got a bit of a decent lead now, hasn't he?
He's gone. Hand gestures from Lovell. He is distraught. He kept putting his hand up. I think there was a lot of contact coming from Matys behind, and he could sense it coming, and Matys has just taken a big chunk out of his rear left-hand side through the very tight section.
A couple of laps earlier, Lovell had patted the back of his helmet towards Matys, as if to say, you know, look, wind it in, mate, wind it in. And obviously Matys did want it. Funnily enough, it was exactly the point where they collided. You know, a couple of laps earlier. So we'll see what happens here. Ooh. So the winner there was Logan Sougne, because he's now up to third. He's going to be having a few shots at Matys.
What does the red and black triangle flag mean? Because that's just been shown to Matys.
That is a warning flag.
Ah.
Yeah, in fact, may even be a bad pass possibly, which is going to be really serious.
Yeah.
Because Matys is going to have to let Logan Sougne through in order. Logan Sougne, he's seen that he's been given a bad pass, so Logan Sougne, you see, Matys has to let Lovell through, which involves letting Sougne through as well.
No! Oh, that's
so Matys has to drop 2 places. You see, the bad pass flag meant that he had to let Lovell through, but because Logan Sougne was now ahead of Lovell, he had to come through as well. So Matys, big loser there, and look at this, through that kerfuffle, Logan Sougne, best placed by being 4th, because he's now 2nd.
I think race control have had a long look at that. It's taken a while for that flag to come out, but certainly how I saw it, that was over the line.
Well, that was the only time someone had spun out, so they almost had to give it, though it was a bit of a racing incident, it has to be said. But it's all to the benefit of Logan Sougne. Now, Gary Llewellyn is in the lead at the moment on paper, and he's yet to make a pit stop, but it's going to be Dhillon's race.
Meulemeester has pitted, and he's ahead of Sougne.
Oh my goodness.
That has...
Yeah, Meulemeester pitted out the lead. Now this is a different complexion. There's Meulemeester we're looking at, and Logan Sougne is actually going to cycle out this third. There's Marc Meulemeester. This is unbelievable by Marc Meulemeester.
You keep fighting, lads.
That is a nominal 2nd place. We've got Gary Llewellyn, who's in the lead at the moment on the track, but he's not pitted. Dante Dhillon, Marc Meulemeester, Dante Dhillon's best friend in the world right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Meulemeester knows he's in net 2nd overall, and he is fighting Logan, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does, because he knows he's made a pit stop. So by definition, if he's made a pit stop, anybody who's challenging him is for position not to put him a lap down. He knows his position, he knows he pitted down to the lead, and Marc Meulemeester, well, these Meulemeester brothers have been coming on really strong. Marc Meulemeester last year, you know, he was not a front runner, he was 37, so knocking on the door of the semi-finals, but now he's running 2nd overall. Surely this is going to be Dante Dhillon's race, because he's got a 4-second lead on this battle, definitely. And this is an almighty battle. Logan Sougne is in 3rd place. In reality, Llewellyn is yet to make a pit stop. He's continuing to circulate with 13 cars. He's coming in this time. Here's Gary Llewellyn. Now, where will Gary Llewellyn actually rejoin? Because he might actually rejoin among the Meulemeester fight. Here's Gary Llewellyn. He's actually battling for 2nd place, really. Where is Meulemeester? Gary Llewellyn comes out of the pits. Meulemeester alongside him. Yes, it's side by side. Can Llewellyn hold him off? He's got the inside. He's got the inside. Logan Sougne passes Meulemeester. He will pass Llewellyn. Logan Sougne to 2nd. What a move by the Belgian ace. What a move to 2nd place by Sougne. 2 of them in one go.
Oh, you've got to feel for Meulemeester, because he had to go around the outside. The momentum took him so that he had to go around the outside of I lost track of who it was coming out of this. But yeah, he ended up getting done on the inside.
Absolutely. Now, that was a world-class performance by Logan Sougne. They're world-class.
That was too much.
Lovell again.
That was too much.
Lovell again.
Frustrated. He's gone for a punt.
Lovell's lost all those places. If the bad pass flag comes out, it's Meulemeester is going to go tumbling down the order, because he's going to have to let Lovell through.
No. That's all on Lovell.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute left in this race as Dante Dhillon comes through to what could be the most epic win of the tournament so far. Dante Dhillon with a 4-second lead. It's kicking off behind him like no other race.
Bit of contact before a run down to the pits.
We were saying, sorry.
Yeah, that was Lovell. He took a big punt down the inside. I'd be very surprised.
Okay, so yeah, Lovell's own bad pass flag really has cost him anyway. So unlucky there for George Lovell. So Dante Dhillon with hardly any time remaining, with less than a minute. This is probably going to be the last lap. It's going to be an epic win in one of the most epic races we've seen this tournament. Dante Dhillon, well, he was hyped up as being the one who was going to be tapping other carts, but it's everyone else has been crashing into each other, and Dante Dhillon has come through to an amazing victory. And 1 more lap to go for Dante Dhillon. He's really looking good. He's on his final lap now. Dante Dhillon, look at him go, a semi-finalist last year, 28th overall in the championship. A great run by him. He's really been fighting a rear guard action, but those behind him have been the ones who failed. He has come through the winner. An excellent performance there by Dante Dhillon. You cannot take anything away from this amazing performance. He's round, coming to the final part of the lap for the final time. They're readying the checker flag. The checker flag is going to come out for Dante Dhillon. What an amazing performance there. Dhillon wins, the Egham-based driver. Dante Dhillon wins. It's Logan Sougne, a world-class performance. He had it all going on around him, Logan Sougne. He's been up the order, he's been down the order, he pit stopped early, it didn't work for him. Crazy race going on, but Logan Sougne comes through in second place. Marc Meulemeester into third. Meulemeester, top 3 position for him. That's the best result we've seen from him. Matys into fourth. Gary Llewellyn into fifth. The unlucky George Lovell there, battling for the lead, potential winner of this race, but Dhillon pitted on the only lap that was going to make the difference, and George Lovell ended up in 6th when it could potentially have been a win. Ben Churchill in 7th, Tim Andrew in 8th, and Osborne 9th, and Mcgrath rounds him out in 10th. And all I can say from that is what a race. And down there near, but oh, look at George Lovell, he's in the face of the 21, Mateusz Matys, the young Polish driver, getting an absolute earful from George Lovell. And yeah, he's pointing and yelling. This is pretty fair stuff. We're going to be going down to Spanners in the pits, and he's got some interviews to do. What a race.
Well, firstly, look, that was an incredibly dramatic race. We're into round 3 now, and it's really, really important to these guys. Every single place on the track being fought for very, very passionately. So we had Lovell there involved in a lot of battles. Early on, not happy at all with Matys. Matys making moves up the inside, spinning him half around, but then Lovell getting involved in a big tangle later on as well. Very aggressive moves, and then that aggression has spilled over to the pit lane as well. Guys, I just have to say that was a passionate race. Great to see the passion. Maybe a shame that it's boiled over to that extent, but that can't take away from Dante Dhillon. If you can do anything, it's defend from the lead.
Yeah, quality is what did it for me. I felt the lap was just, I had to win, like, if there was even a chance of doing that, I had to get pole position. The lap felt very good, so I felt confident. To be on pole was a bit of a surprise, but, you know, I'll take it. Yeah, it's just defending before, like, I used to look behind a lot, but then I realised halfway through the race, there's no point looking behind you, because you're just not going to focus on the next corner.
Well, you were still putting lap times in, even though you're being reasonably defensive. You've got Logan Sougne behind you, and you forced him into an early pit stop. That guy's pretty good, and you dictated his race and put him in trouble. That's a big compliment to your driving.
Yeah, when I saw the names on my race, I was like, Logan's for the win, surely.
Everyone did. No one rated you.
Yeah, I know. Which I would do the same. Yeah, props to Logan. He obviously gave me a hard time. Which is why he's so good. I mean, he's one of the Blue Star drivers. They do excellent.
And how aware were you of the kerfuffle behind after the pit stops?
I heard a big bang, and I saw 3 cars all coming to a stop. I was like, oh, maybe a yellow will come out or something, but it didn't. They all managed to carry on. But I was aware of it, and as soon as I saw that, it was head down, just try and get away. So, yeah.
Great heats win. What represents a good weekend for you?
Just getting to the semis, really. Obviously, with the 2nd and the 6th, I was like, but that first really helped. So main focus on the last race, because anything can happen. But yeah, semis.
Keep fighting. That's the cleanest race I've ever seen you in, by the way.
Yeah, I can't say the same for my D-Max races, but Yeah, no, it was a really good race, really pleased for how I drove.
Brilliant, congratulations, great race win, a worthy winner there, a really passionate race. The spirit of this competition is fantastic. I know that'll settle down hopefully, but if that passion continues into round 4 and the semi-finals, we are in for some fantastic racing.
And what a result there by Dante Dhillon. And that concludes the third round of heats, and it's the final race that's going to be on the revised layout, so we're going to be reverting to the normal one. Those of you watching at home on the live stream, we're going to be off the air for a little bit, and then we'll be back for into the action. Give us about half an hour and then rejoin us for what's shaping up to be the best BRKC ever that there's been.